Hey guys, Matt here for a 3-minute devotion. And today I want to speak briefly about keeping our eyes fixated on Christ, keeping our head up and looking up at the help that's above us, always. So there's something about these characters in the Bible that find themselves in these desperate situations and God working through that situation for good. And I think that's a testament to God will always turn every situation for good. Right, he works every situation for good. Last week we spoke about Paul in the Roman prison coming out with "Rejoice in the Lord, always rejoice." And today I want to talk about another man in a desperate situation, which was David, talking about how the Lord sustains him in Psalm 3. So Psalm 3 is just beautiful as David just cries out from his heart. This is a man after God's own heart, right? And he says in Psalm 3, he says, "Lord, how many are my foes? How many rise up against? Many are saying of me, God will not deliver him." David then cries out and says, "But you, Lord, are a shield around me, my glory, the one who lifts up my head high." See, God wouldn't let David drop his head, right? God lifted David's head up high. And David admitted that he is a shield around him, right? Us too, like God, and like David, not like God, like David, can bring our requests to God, yeah? And I said about it last week in Philippians 4, with prayer and petition and thanksgiving, present your requests to God. And that's Paul talking in the New Testament, And like David, like Paul's instruction, we can bring every request to God. Because every victory that we have, every strength that we feel, every courage that we have, that is the Lord working through us, yeah? In verse 3 it continues, and David says, "I call out to the Lord, and he answers me from his holy mountain." So in spite of David's poor situation, God lifted up David's head, right? And he answered him. We have to keep our eyes fixated on Christ because God doesn't want us looking down, being miserable, right? He doesn't want us to look at our regrets that is behind us in our past. He doesn't want us to look at our sin that's in our heart. He doesn't even want us to concentrate on the situation that's around us, but he wants us to look at the help that is above us. He wants us to keep our eyes fixated on Christ and follow him. Right? It says in Galatians 5, those that are led by the Spirit, right? We must want to be led. We must want to follow. We must keep our eyes up and fixated on Christ. David continues in Psalm 3 and says, "I lie down and sleep. I wake again because the Lord sustains me. I will not fear though the 10 of thousands assail me on every side." So back then, David had tens and thousands around him, and it seems that he has a great peace about him. He can rest his head. He can sleep well. He can wake up because the Lord is what sustains him. Not David's courage, not David's bravery, not David's strength, but the Lord working through David is what sustains him. And the Lord can sustain us too in every situation if we keep our eyes up and fixated on him. Right? And we, like David, can feel that deep peace too in our heart, despite anything that's going on around us. So that's my Psalm 3 today, talking about David's desperate situation and how the Lord was sustaining him and gave him a great peace. And we can feel that peace too. So have a blessed week.